Hello again, welcome back everyone. LiquorHound here with you, and thank you for joining me once again for another Spirit Review video. So today we got a couple of special, very mature Jack Daniel's bottles to review. We have the Jack Daniel's 10-year-old batch 1 and the 12-year-old. Now the 10-year-old has done a second batch. It is bottled at 97 proof. Retail pricing on it was about $70, $75. The 12-year-old is bottled at a bigger and nicer 107 proof. This one, I do not know if they're going to do a batch 2. Haven't heard anything. But it did retail at about $80, $85, so not that much more. But we're going to see which one and how they taste and which one I kind of prefer. But as far as bottle numbers, from what I can tell, there was something like, I think about 20 to 25,000 bottles of this per batch. And this one was somewhere around 18-ish thousand bottles. So they're not super limited. There's still a good amount out there. I know I see them a lot on secondary, so different auctions and stuff like that. And while you won't find them at $75, $85, they're usually about, I'd say about triple that is what they usually run on secondary. But that's kind of why I'm doing this tasting, because if you really like Jack, or let's say you don't like traditional, just regular old Jack, and you're like, hey, I want something that's more mature, has better flavor, well, maybe I can help you figure out if these are for you and whether or not you should go out there and buy them, because there's plenty of online stores that still have them and so on. It's just whether or not you're willing to pay that price. All right? All right, here we go with the 10-year-old, 97 proof, on the nose. Oh, oh. One thing I should say, the mash bill. 80% corn, 12% rye, and I want to say 8% barley on these. Ooh, yeah. Lots of brown sugar. Heavy oak, really nice. Well integrated. That brown sugar and oak components just really nicely integrated. The typical banana that you find so dominant in current Jack, when it's allowed to mature up, it actually matures kind of out of it. And while it's not all the way out of the tin, it's more in the banana nut bread, kind of area. I will say there's some coconut, really nice coconut in with that rich oak. Maybe like a little bit of the Madagascar vanilla beans in here. Sweet, almost like praline, pecans. All right, here we go. Let's taste it. Oh, nice. Whoa. Good, medium, rich viscosity. It's really nice. It hits all the. It's really good. Um, there's actually tobacco leaf on the back end of this one that I'm really digging right now. Cocoa powder, old leather. But here we go. Let's start it over. Here we go. Enters that big, heavy brown sugar weight. Maybe even a little molasses in there with it. That kind of praline pecan, it does show up really nice and early. That light nuttiness is there. Right as you hit that mid palate, it kind of, that's where almost like the molasses shows up with that brown sugar. You get a little depth of that kind of sugar component right there at the mid palate. You get that baking spice with the clove, anise or anise right there, the cinnamon underneath those two, kind of rises up, bumps up on that mid palate, rolls over. You start taking this ride going down into the flavor, starts going into that cocoa, that leather, that aged tobacco leaf. Wow, on the back end, very back of the finish is actually where I picked up a little bit of banana showing up. But again, it's more in that banana nut bread area. And then you're just left just with this really heavy oak. Again, light little coconut tones playing in there. And that banana nut bread still rolling. I really like it. I think that 10 is fantastic. Is it, I mean, and at that proof, 97 proof, it's not too big, it's not too low. It's a great sipper. Yeah, you got to be careful on that one. You could go through a bottle pretty fast. So $70, and you're looking at 20. Yeah, about 210 for a bottle, maybe. If you're lucky, 210, 230. I'm guessing. It might be worth it. Okay, now on to the 12. I need a double rinse after that one. Okay, 12-year-old, 107 proof. Whoa, very, very nice. It's even heavier than the 10. Big, big, big brown sugar and molasses on this one. This one was probably about, if I was going to, try to put a percentage on it, I would probably say this one was like, I don't know, maybe 70 brown sugar, 30 molasses. This one's almost 50-50 on those two. When you nose it, there is some really heavy, almost like a rummy tone to it. The polish, the wood, it's just amplified here on the 12. Very similar in the notes, I will say, as far as, the fruit and the baking spices and all that, they seem very, very similar. Let me go back right away. Yeah, it's just amplified. Much darker on the 12, which I personally like. When bourbons get really heavy and dark, I love that about them. All right, let's taste it. Super savory. Makes you salivate. There's a lot of oak in here. Not too much. It's not too bitter, but it's definitely hitting that peak, right? You can't go too much further with that, or it is just going to really start get really dry. Wow. Yeah. All right, here we go. 50-50 brown sugar molasses. Brandied cherries right up front. Very light, almost like apple skins in there. Just a little bit of them, not a lot, but you pick that up. That big brandy cherry thing is really nice. On the mid palate, you pick up kind of the similar thing here where you're getting that clove anise with the cinnamon right underneath that. You pick that up. That candied praline that was in this one, it comes off on this one just a little more just like roasted pecans, maybe a little bit of almond in with it. That's about it. Lots more dark shaved chocolate on this one. It still has that old leather, that little bit of aged tobacco. To me, this one had a little more on the tobacco because this one, while it may be in there, there's just so much of that dark chocolate on top of it. And that molasses is driving through. And you get this really heavy oak tannin. I don't know. This one's tough. Me personally, because I like really mature and I don't mind really heavy oak on bourbon, like when you start talking about French oak, stuff like that. This is amazing for Jack Daniels. You don't pick up nearly, like this one was going into that banana nut bread thing at the very back end. This one, you have to really wait and you have to really focus, and then you'll pick out just a twinge of it. So it's aged out, that component, which some people may like, some people may not like. I love it. I think that is phenomenal. Do I think that's the best thing Jack's ever put out? No. I do think they've put out amazing barrel strength single barrels before. Coy Hill was really, really good. This is up there, though. This is way up there. This is definitely in the top five of top five things they've ever done. Probably for me is this. The 10, And it just lingers, and it's the right proof for that. It just really rich and rolls forever. Oh my goodness. And now here we are, what, 45 seconds, a minute after I took the last sip. Here's that aged tobacco. You have to really, this thing has such a long finish that you really have to wait for it to get to some of those notes. All right, all right. So I really like the 12. I'm going to go back to the 10 just to make sure. The 10, it almost has a little bit of like an underripe pineapple tone to it. I like that in it as well. I didn't pick that up at first, but when you go back to it, that's what I'm picking up there. That's the difference in the fruit. And then that banana nut thing on the back end. Yeah, it's nice. And if you're not used to bigger bourbons, this is going to be the way to go, because you can drink this all day long. You don't have to add a lot of water to it. It's going to go down really nice and easy. It's not going to burden your palate with too much flavor or too, depth of flavor that maybe you're not used to. But you have an old leather palate like I do, it's the 12 for me. Oh yeah, I just want to live in that glass for a little bit. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video review. Thank you as always for being here. If you're a patron of mine, or if you're not, I greatly appreciate y'all either way. But of course, if you want to keep this channel going and help me continue being able to get bottles like this to source so that I don't have to, ask people for bottles or, get companies to send me bottles. These are straightforward reviews that I self-purchase. But thank you as always for being here. Of course, if you enjoy this kind of content and you want to support it, join me over at patreon.com/LiquorHound. There you're going to get these videos ad-free. You're going to get these videos 2 weeks early before they ever launch on YouTube, so that when they're rare bottles like this, you can hopefully get out there early, find them, source them before they get to YouTube, where everybody can have access to those videos. Of course, I do have a private review library there as well, and do giveaways in certain tiers. So if you can, join me over there at patreon.com/LiquorHound. But if not, I greatly appreciate each and every one of my viewers, regardless of platform. Keep leaving all those great comments, and I'll get back to them just as soon as I can. Everyone, have a great day, and cheers.